Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever and whenever you are. Welcome to, my name is Benjamin, and welcome to another Godot tutorial. This will be part 7 in my platform series. This one's going to be a little bit more laid back. I have less preparation work done for this one. I just kind of have a general idea of what I would like to show you guys. And so, you know, I guess you can kind of take that for if you prefer more structured tutorials that are very specific and very edited, then this probably isn't for you. But if you enjoy more laid back tutorial videos, this will be a good one for you. So I'm going to be covering pretty much some UI nodes in Godot, and we're going to be making a basic menu, and I think I'm going to touch on theming. We'll kind of see how that goes, but I might touch on theming your UI as well. So let's get started. I do want to make one announcement real fast, which is I'm working on a series that will be initially released for GameMaker Studio 2 and then potentially released for Godot, depending on if people want me to. It will be side-scrolling hack and slash 2D hack and slash game, and I've been working on the artwork. It will be based on my game Grave, which was a game that I did a while back for Ludum Dare, so the code will be kind of based off of that, and the game itself will be based off of that. But yeah, I'm going to make it a series on YouTube. It will be, I would call it a pay what you want course. So you can technically take the course without paying anything, but there will also be an option to sort of pay a certain amount for the course if you want to. But that is completely up to you. There won't be an actual paywall behind it. It will be pay what you want. So what I'll do is I'll just have all of the assets on itch.io. When I start the series, you can go download those assets, and it will give you the option to pay a certain amount if you want to. And if you don't want to, then you just download them for free and you take the course for free. But that's kind of something that I'd like to try to see kind of how it goes. So tell me if that's something that that you guys would be interested in or not. And I'd be curious to see if some of you would want to pay some for it, or if most of you would just do it for free. Doesn't really matter your response. I'm gonna do it anyways. But it would, I guess, for future content, if it does work out and people do decide to donate, then I will likely do more like this. So anyways, that's just a quick announcement. This is the graphics. This is the artwork I've been working on for that. I thought you guys would like to see this. And so keep an eye out for those videos. They're coming as soon as I can finish up all this artwork. And like I said, I'll start with GameMaker Studio 2. And then, of course, the series you could also do it with GameMaker Studio 1.4 if you don't have 2. And then I will potentially do the same series for Godot as well. Okay, so let's get back to the tutorial. Thanks for your patience there on that announcement. Yeah, let's create a menu. And so we're going to create a new scene right here. And we're going to add, let's add a control node to this, because everything under UI, all the UI nodes are under control. And they work a little bit differently from normal nodes. They have an anchor and a margin and like kind of a size. They don't really have a position like an X and a Y position like other nodes do. I mean, they sort of do based on their anchor and their margin. You can see if I move this left right here. Well, you can see if I just grab it and move it, it's going to change the margins. Can you see these right here? They're changing as I move this. So that's kind of the X and Y position of this node. But we're just going to call this start menu, and we're going to save this as startmenu.tscn, and we're going to check our anchor. And the easiest way to check the anchor of a node is just to click on, well, I guess layout right here. It used to be called anchor. It looks like it's called layout now. And you can see there are different options for how where to anchor this node. And this basically just affects the margins. So you can see right now we must be anchored to the top left, I think is what we're anchored to. Yep, you can see the margins don't change. But for this node, we want it to fill up the entire screen. So we're going to anchor it to full rect. Okay, and you can see that that changes the anchor. Now sometimes you actually have to go in here in the margin and set these all to 0 once you've done that, because sometimes it doesn't update them, but it looks like this was updated automatically. So then it fills up the entire screen. It's anchored to the entire screen. So if our screen size changes, this node will adjust with the screen size as well. So once we've done that, we want to, for our start menu, I want to have maybe an image right here or a text, some sort of a font that will say what the name of the game is. And then underneath that, let's just grab a snipping tool to kind of show visually what I'm talking about. So I want to have like a font right here, like game. You know, this will be our game's name right here. And then underneath this, we're going to have like a couple buttons like this. One will be like start. And the other one would be like quit. Right? And then later you could maybe add like an options or whatever in here. But this is kind of what we're going for as a starting point. Okay? And this button will obviously take us to our first level. And this will just quit the game. So easy enough, right? So the first thing we want to do is we want this to be in the center. And you could obviously just place that stuff in the center, but then if your screen size changed, it might be messed up. So there's a specific node for this under control. And a lot of what you're going to be using for this kind of thing are containers. And you can see under container here, there's a center container. And if we place this inside as a child of our start menu, it just places up here at the top. We also want this to be full rect. Now when it does full rect here, it's going to resize for whatever this one is, whatever its parent is. So that just so happens to be the whole screen, but if the parent was only this big, then it would also only be this big inside of the parent, because it just fills up its parent. Okay, so now we've got a center container, which means anything that we make a child of this will be placed in the center of the level. Let me show you that real quick. Let's just search for a label. And you can see it immediately places that label in the center. And if we type something here like game name, oops, don't want that return, then press close, you can see this font is now in the center of our level, which is cool. Now we want to put some buttons under here, so you'd think maybe let's add a button. Right? And they're overlapping. So that's not what we want. We want them to line up vertically, right? So let's get rid of these two for now. And inside of our center container, we'll add, let's see, still searching under button there. We can come in here and under container, wait, is it container? Yeah, box container. There's one called a VBox container. And what this does is it organizes nodes vertically. There's a horizontal one too, an HBox container, but we're going to use the VBox container. We put it right here. Now, our anchor doesn't really matter for this one because it's going to be centered. It's going to be forced to the center because of our center container. But we can start putting nodes inside of here. So let's put our label back in. Okay, and then let's add a button too. And you can see that this is already stacking them if we duplicate this. So we'll name this one title. We'll name this one start game button, and we'll name this one quit game. Okay. Let's zoom in a little bit. And let's give our title. We'll call it, what could we call this game? I don't really have a name for the game. I don't know. Jumping game. That is the dumbest name. But it works for now. And then you can see that depending, all of these resize based on the largest child. So which are, oops, I accidentally, if I come back there, it fixes it. So if you accidentally move one of these, it'll obviously mess it up inside of the VBox container. But all you have to do is tab to a different scene and tab back, and it will readjust all of that. So let's name this Start Game. And then we'll name this one Quit Game. Like this. Okay, so we've got our Start Game, we've got our Quit Game. I move that again. Okay. Now let's actually figure out how to do some things with this. So let's create a script on our start menu. And we'll just create this, and it can just be startmenu.gd, start.gd. We can get rid of all this. We don't need any of this right now. And I'm going to teach you about, I've decided in this tutorial we're not going to cover theming. I'll do that in the next one. But I'm going to teach you about signals. So signals are a way for a node to basically send out an announcement that something has happened. And that announcement can be received by any number of other nodes. And it's based on whether or not those nodes are connected to that signal. Okay, so that sounds a little confusing, but let me just show you how easy it is in practice. So come to our Start Game button. Click on Node instead of Inspector, and you'll see there's a Signals section. And there's a signal under button called Pressed. We're just going to double click on that. And then it's going to give us an option to connect that press signal to another node. And we want to connect it to our Start Menu node. And we also want it to make a function. Okay? And this function will be called when that signal happens, or in other words, when the Start Game button is pressed, it will call this function. So let's connect. And you can see it's come into our Start Menu.gd, and it's created a new function called onStartGameButtonPressed. So this function is connected via a signal to this button. And whenever this button is pressed, it will call this function. So inside of here, we can just do print and say hi. Okay. And then if we can actually run this specific scene by pressing this right here. Instead of play, you just do the play scene button. And then when we press the start game, you'll see in the debug down here, it says hi. So that's working. Okay, but we probably don't want it to just say hi when we press the button. We want it to actually go to our level. So right here we can say get tree dot change scene. And do we use change scene 2? I don't remember what we used. Let's look at our other code here. World complete. We just use change scene. Okay, so we'll just use change scene. Change scene. And then we need a path. So our path will be to world 1. What's the scene that we have? I don't see a world 1 here. I see world 2. Oh, there, it's just world right there. Okay. So we'll just call it world.tscn. And this path needs to obviously be correct, or this won't work. But if we try that now, and we press start game, it takes us to our world scene, which is perfect. It's exactly what we wanted. Okay. Oops. So let's do another one. And you can see in the UI, it shows a little signal icon here to tell you that this node has a signal. And then when we come to signals here, it will show this little green signal that's connected to the parent. And this is the function that it calls. So let's do another signal. We'll click on our Quit Game button. And we'll do pressed. We'll click on the Start Menu Parent. We want it to make a function. And here we go. Here's our function. And for this one, we'll just call get tree dot quit. And if we press our run scene button instead of running the game, then we should be able to quit. And that will quit our scene. So let's come into our project and project settings and our run. We want our main scene. We don't want it to be the world scene anymore. We want it to be file. Where is it? Oh, start menu right here. Close. Okay, so now when we run our game, it will show our start menu very first. And we don't have let's come into here real quick. Our player seems to be doing some weird stuff with oh, we need to lock our tile map. I don't know why that's not locked. Our player seems to be doing kind of some weird stuff with the ground here. I don't know if we've got kind of a weird falling distance or something. That seems to have fixed it. Okay. So we've got a good looking start menu here. And this is just the default theming right here. And it doesn't actually, I mean, the start menu itself is good, but the way it looks doesn't match the game. And this font is terrible looking. So in the next video, I'll be showing you guys how to set up a simple theme for your UI so that whenever you create a button or add new labels or text or anything, you can very easily well, it will just automatically do that with your theme, whatever you themed it to look like, and it will look the way your game should look. And let me actually show you an example here. I'm going to open up Godot 2 project that I've been working on. So this project is called End Hall. And I've set up a simple start menu like this. And this uses built-in, you can see I'm using margin container. This, actually, is that even needed? Oh yeah, I just kind of indented a little bit. I have a title container here inside of a VBox container, and then I have a center container with another VBox container inside of it, and then the buttons right here, and a margin container just for some text and stuff here. So this menu right here is themed though using very specific UI and font types, so that when I create new buttons or new labels, it automatically will use this. Like if I add a button here, you can see it just automatically looks like it should. It doesn't look like this. Wait, where is my? It doesn't look like this because it's not using the default theme anymore. It's using a theme that I have created. So if I delete this and then tab, can I just tab out here? Yeah, nope, that didn't work. So, and then I come into a different scene here, and it fixes my menu. And you can see if I run the game, this might have audio, I don't remember. So if I run the game, these all work. I can come into options here. I could take it out of full screen. I could change the sound volume. And I've themed this UI. The music volume doesn't work yet, but I've themed this UI so that it matches my game. And you can see it will match all parts of my game as well, like in here. Like this uses default Godot UI, but I've just themed it differently. So I think that's really powerful and very cool. So I'll be showing you guys how to theme in the next video. And hope you guys enjoyed this one. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys later.